Hi, everyone. Oh, this is my third live stream in 3 days. I'm getting a real workout here with this. Let's see. We've got Jean. Hi, Jean, and Debbie, and Catherine. And then once again, my husband is back. Okay, I'm hearing myself speak, and that was annoying. Can you guys still hear me? I was getting back. And butterflies free. Hello, you guys. Can you guys? If I can just get one person saying yes, I'll hear you. Thank you, Catherine. The volume up on my computer, and then I was hearing myself speak, and it was like, oh, I can't have that. That's bad. While I'm waiting for people to log on, I was going to tell you guys. Thank you, Debbie. I was getting ready, to get set up and everything, and I swear, Schrodinger, our little channel mascot, the channel mascot, probably none of us asked for, but it's the one we have. He came in here and he's like, "Okay, Mom, I'm ready," and he's right here next to me, like in the chair on this side. I'll pull you down. Oh, now he's going to start playing with the cord. Don't play with the cord. Okay. If the computer all of a sudden goes disastrous, you'll know that he pulled the computer off because he's playing with the cord. Okay. Anyway, that's but he takes his job as channel mascot very serious. I was doing a reading, or not a reading. I was doing a live with Marina last night. Shine Your Light. Oh my gosh, it was the perfect way to end the No Kings protest day. It's like we all came together with our energy in large groups, and then in person, and then we all came together, of an evening in a more spiritual, energetic place. And I kept saying it was just the perfect bookends for that great day. But as I was getting ready, literally, like, she brought me up on the screen, and here comes Schrodinger, and I'm like, of course. So he likes this energy. He loves to add his energy, and he takes his job very serious. And Marcy's joined us. Hey, Marcy. Okay. So, how many of you guys went to your No Kings marches and rallies yesterday? We went to ours, and I haven't seen a final tally, but I'm thinking it was like between 4,000 and 6,000. I mean, that 5,000 mark seems pretty reasonable. The goal was to fill like one side of the street for 2 miles, and we came pretty darn close to that. The last 2 miles, and then there was like this next section that kind of went from one main street to, through several main street intersections. And they even went a little bit further. Now, we weren't, closely packed in there, but if the people at the beginning, if we had all been on one side and actually stretched out, we would have been that probably 2.5 miles, maybe 3. But it was a good 2 mile, stretch there of people lining the street. So there was handful of people of negative comments and responses. There was one sad little Trump train there that was like 4 trucks, and they were sad. I mean, it was sad, and it was like, and everybody around them was like honking in support. So yeah, of us, not them. So it was really sad. And I noticed that if you guys check out Brian Tyler Cohen's like what he talked about, he spoke at the LA one, and he was saying, where are all the boat parades and the Trump parades and like all the pro-Trump stuff? Yeah, we're not seeing those this Trump era, which is kind of nice. Hands across America, no kings across America. Yeah. So we had a wonderful time. I got a little sunburnt. I did wear sunscreen, and like my part, I didn't quite get that quite right. And my head hurts. So oopsies. You would think I would learn. And you guys, I am going to jump in here real quick with some announcements. But first, I would like to say thank you so much for your understanding of me not feeling quite, well enough to do readings this past week. I probably could have powered through, but I decided to do the adult thing and not. I was like, and here's why is because I actually fell asleep one evening at like 5 p.m. I never fall asleep at 5 p.m. ever because it messes up my sleep schedule. I would never go to sleep. I fell asleep at 5, slept for like took about a 45-minute power nap and slept just fine that night. And I'm like, okay, I know I am not feeling well and I need to just stop. So I did. I was like, I was, negotiating with myself. It's like, okay, I need to take time off, but I want to do that no kings, but I don't want to have like no content, but I do have the live. So it'll all be fine. So as soon as I get done with these, with this live today, I'm going to record 3 readings. Not exactly sure what they are yet. We'll see what all comes up here. And yes, and then I'm going to start doing I'm going to get back on track with the Trump, daily checks with that. And yes, that and Milo, that's the one I do want to start with that question first. And then, the readings and all that. So if you're a member, you should be having new readings to watch this evening. And then for community members or just the community at large, those readings will once again come out once a day. And then I am for the next 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'm only going to have readings Monday through Friday, and this is why. Next week is Easter weekend, so Sunday there will not be a live next Sunday. And then the following week, my husband and I are finally getting away to celebrate our wedding anniversary a few months late in the most perfect way for us possible. And we are going to Eureka Springs for the UFO convention. So that's just going to be something. I thought that sounded like fun. He's been before. I've never been. I've always wanted to go. And so that weekend of like the 10th and 11th, no reading on the 11th or the 10th, no live on the 11th. So that weekend we'll be taking off. And I wanted to tell you guys, yes, I will be in Eureka Springs at the UFO convention. So if you see me in the wild, come up and say hi. That's perfectly acceptable. Okay, so let's see. I want to first of all say for entertainment purposes only. Oh, one more set of announcements real quick, and then I am going to get into this. I just saw my note here. You guys, we have launched thewillowinstitute.com. Finally, it's launched. Now, here comes Schrodinger. Get over here. Now, get down. Guys, I get the cards out, and here he is. There you go. Spray bottle, because I just can't have him in the middle of that. That was fun for a few days, but after that, I'm like, I can't do that. That was getting too hard for me. Hey, Nancy. And so the Willow Institute. So what we've launched so far is going to be the private sessions. I'm now available for limited times for private sessions. As I get some more of this other like behind the scenes stuff done, I will just ignore the spray bottle, just dealing with Schrodinger there. I will start adding extra times to that, but I am available for private sessions. And the way that works is that you schedule your time. I've got my calendar there. You pick a time, and then you'll get a link to StreamYard. And you are more than welcome to like click that link ahead of time and kind of get in there. It really is. You just click the link and like the computer does its thing or your phone, make sure like, the sound is working. You can, you don't have to have the video if you don't want. I prefer it just because I like to see people, but I've done phone readings way in the past. I worked online and that I can connect just with the voice. And then, and then readings last up to 45 minutes. And then I can also do the numerology readings in that as well, if that's something that you're interested in. And we can do a combo too. It's like, oh, I want a numerology reading related, and I relate that back to tarot. And also, like you have questions about your own life. And then the tarot classes are getting ready to launch. If you have sent me an email, you should have received an email from me about the links to join the classes, okay, and how the format is and everything. If you have sent me an email and you have not received that information, send me another email, tarotbysherry@gmail, because I want to make sure those of you who have reached out first get those first spots. And I'm going to give you guys a few more days. In fact, it'll be on Wednesday's readings that I start giving like some of that more specific detailed stuff in there that you guys already know about. But I want to make sure you guys get your spots first, because those are that link that I sent you to join Patreon is a limited number link. So make sure you get in there and use that. Okay. My two cats own me. Yes, I have 5 cats that own me. And here he is again. You got to stay in your spot, right? Got to learn manners, buddy. He's not happy now. Okay. Will you tell anyone how long they have to live or illness? Okay. So Susie, that's a great question. And this is how I approach that. The short of that is no, but what I will look at is the energy around it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys this real quick story about the medical stuff and kind of how it was an amazing reading that I did. Somebody came and asked me about their son-in-law. He had just been diagnosed with brain cancer, and I put out the cards, and it was like every single bad card that could come up came up, and it was just like. And she had enough readings that she knew it was like we all both just sat there, kind of looked at it, and I was like, "Oh shit." So I was like, you know what? I just picked those cards up and set them off to the side. I said, I've got a different deck and said, we're going to do this again. And now we're going to look at what options are there. And in that, what I got was he would qualify for a brand new study, but that she would have to be like a dog with a bone and not let this go and somehow insert herself into her daughter and son-in-law's life, insist on going to the doctor's appointments, and really make that passionate plea to the doctor that the doctor would do it, but she would have to just not let it go. And so she did all that, and she finally had to come clean with everybody and say, okay, this tarot reader told me that he would qualify for the study and that you would say no, but that if I insisted, you would find it. And so here I am insisting. And to the doctor's credit, he said, okay, well, let's go find that study. And they did. They found the study. He qualified, and she did. And that he was going to start that study. What I got also out of that was that because of the study, it would prolong his life. There may have been because of technology and medicine advancements, there was like this possibility of like something like a little bit further down the road. But that really the immediate was that study and to do that. And so I don't know how it turned out. I know he got in, and that's all I know. She never came back after that. So anyway, so I won't say exactly how long somebody has, but we can look at the energy around that and like what's it looking like. So that's kind of how I just because you refuse to accept your food. Yeah. Yeah, I refuse to. Yeah, it's like, it's like even if things are, like bad, we can usually find how are we going to navigate through this. That's usually what I do in those situations, Susie. Of yeah, this is a shit show, kind of like how we're doing with the United States now. It's a shit show. Not even denying that. How are we going to navigate through that? How are we going to be empowered to make it through said event? So that's kind of how I handle that. Okay. So, any cards on how Trump is reacting today? Susie, I hope that answered that for you. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, what was asked was about if I tell anyone like how long they live or what the outcome of an illness is. I don't. I approach that more of an empowered way of how to make it through whatever the event is, whether it's an illness, whether it's whatever it is. That's how I do that. So, okay, any cards, and I'm going to use the Chicoli deck today. Let me for that. I tried using the Chicoli deck on a 3-minute short. I'm not there yet. So whenever you guys start seeing me use that deck, you know that I am getting more proficient at using this deck. Okay. I can't do it quite in 3 minutes yet. Getting there, though. I was close. I keep it to 3 minutes, so it can be a short on YouTube as well as TikTok. So, how's Trump feeling today? I saw that he now wants the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, ACA, to be repealed because he knows everyone hates him. So why should we get insurance? Is that all we're going to get as far as his retaliation, his retribution? What kind of feels is Trump having today about the No Kings rallies? Okay, Ace of Pentacles. And he's an apple here. And I just see like an overinflated sense of self. That was the first thing I thought of whenever I saw this card. You guys, in the tarot class, one of the things that we do is what's the first thing that stands out to you whenever you see a card, because that's your intuition starting to develop. And so when I saw this, the first thing was he overinflated sense of self. And you've got it's birds coming out of this apple, kind of like worms. And so I'm kind of thinking like, what is he spewing that he's trying to put this spin on? Like instead of rotten worms coming out, oh, it's birds. And look at the pretty shiny object. So overinflated sense of ego, trying to, like polish a turd, basically like, no, this isn't a worm, it's a bird. Of course, that's what it would be. And then flipping around, I see that 3 of Cups of, I'm trying to, it's like these mermaids and they're flipping around and the emotions, all of the emotions. And I'm kind of seeing this as something through like what emotions. He's got a lot of emotions going on and they're trying to keep him calm. The 7, which is going to be the Chariot. And I see him, look at this, the people around him the people that should be his caregivers, his handlers, are trying to keep him calm. That's how he is today. He's ready to, basically attack all of us, release whatever he can. That's a bull. And because we just don't love him. We don't. And that card is the 2 of Cups, the agreements. We did not agree to this when voting for him. I didn't vote for him, but you've got MAGA going, well, this isn't what I voted for. But yeah, you actually did. And then here we go, the 8 of Cups. And the 8 of Cups is walking away. And look how similar that is to this. Like he thinks, overinflated sense of self. He thinks he's keeping it hidden, but really we see what he's doing. Isn't that cool how those 2 cards look alike? So, yeah, I think that his handlers are trying to keep him quiet. They're trying to keep him calm. This is the card. This was the major arcana in those cards. They're giving him a little juice box. They're rocking him to sleep. They're making sure everything around him is nice and calm. Bless his little shitty diaper. Okay, so yeah, that's how he's reacting today. I want to know. I'm getting out my Wiser Tarot, and Milo. I would like to do the Mitch McConnell one, so I'm getting this back out after this. I just want to know health-wise, what's he doing? What's Trump doing today? In other words, I'd like to know, little brain bleed, how are you doing there? His heart, how is he physically, like in that mental deterioration? That's kind of what I'm looking at. He feels justified, the Justice card. And it's the quickly card. It's also propaganda. It's also going to be like the drones, strikes over there. Either with Iran, he's probably going to try to use some kind of distraction. And look at this. It's like just this gunky, icky colors here. I'm going to put these down so I can kind of look at them better. So he feels completely justified with what he's saying, what he's doing. And I'm thinking like specifically with the ACA, like something that we've had for a while that he does not like. Look at all that dingy, colors there. And there's that little Brambley. Oh, the disappointment. This is also the minor death card of all of the emotions. I'm seeing this as like just the emotional vomit that he does. Pennies for the people. What evidence? What is he going to dribble out? Like, pay attention to this, don't pay attention to everything else, and not being happy with what he's being told. Apparently, I guess he's telling people he's dying. I saw Jack Cocherella, like just the title, which he tends to sensationalize. But he's not going to, Trump's like, oh, I'm going to die. Yeah, well, okay. And like not being happy with that. I think he's in a state of not being happy, realizing that it's over. It's kind of like this. I'm feeling with these cards. There, when somebody has that dementia and like that frontal lobe thing going on, there's a moment when they their coping mechanisms no longer work. That's where we're at. These coping mechanisms, like the way he covers for himself, he called it the Strait of Trump, and he was like, "Oh, I mean Hormuz." We're going to get to a point where he does not correct himself. Okay, and the hope that's what we're waiting for with that. So yeah, that's kind of what's standing out. I think emotionally, we're going to start seeing more of him becoming who he really is without recognizing that. Oh, I need to like be able to present as normal as he can present as. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm seeing with Trump. So the No Kings protest is going to really kind of take a toll on him and his brain because people just don't like him. And actually, it's like, it's not that we don't like you, Don. We fucking hate you. Some of us, ever since the first time we saw that ugly face back in the 80s. I'm old enough to remember that. Okay. So I have been wanting to ask this question forever, and like life keeps happening. Apparently other news keeps happening. But have you guys seen Mitch McConnell lately? The last I saw of him, he was being wheeled about in a wheelchair there in the Capitol, not answering questions. I don't know that he was. Has anyone even seen him speak in the past? I mean, he's able to cast a vote, I guess. Is he even able to do that, without assistance? I'm feeling like it's like you see him and you can't help. It's not an intuitive moment. You can't help but to think about Dianne Feinstein. It's like that same. Like, are you guys getting that same vibe from her too, or from him? Because it's like I look at him and that's instantly what I see. So, as I said, I don't think that that's a. I don't think that's a Tarot moment. I think that's a. Oh yeah, we've seen this show before. So let me see. How is Mitch doing? Oh my. Okay. I shuffled, I promise, and that's the first card that came up. Alrighty then. Well, that's how Mitch is doing. And the gift just keeps giving. And so there's the portal. This Ace of Pentacles is telling me like whatever hey Amanda, whatever treatment the Pentacles in a health reading is going to be the treatment. Like what new treatment, what one thing, it's almost feeling like a heroic measure has been taken for him. And what I'm noticing, you see this in both of these cards, there's this path, and here's this path. And I think in this card, there's not a path, but there's the sun. There's, the sun here. If you look at this, kind of symbolizing the sun. So I think, obviously, because of his age, he's definitely in the twilight moments. But with this being the first card, I like the curtains coming down. Okay, that's how I would say this. Susie, here's an example. Okay, you were asking about how I would do this. If somebody was asking me about health, how is their health? This is what I would say. It looks as though there's going to be like things are coming to an end. Things are getting ready to transform. There is like some heroic measure. There's some new hope there to be given. But with that portal there, it's not looking. It's just not. And for every season, there comes a time. And that this is one of like putting affairs in order is what I would feel with that. in this situation. Oh my God, it's Mitch McConnell, and so we're raising our champagne glasses whenever that happens. And I feel like it's a if this happens before Trump, we're like this is like a practice run for celebrating. The we're he's coming to the end because this is one of mastery and look like this is looking over his life, trying to finish up like that last few, like putting affairs in order. That's what I would say, and that's coming back here with this the Temperance card, putting affairs in order, and then the Page of Swords. Novice. This is someone who I know it's a younger person, but this is going to be like there's not a whole lot of medical intervention that can be done at this point. Like antibiotics to keep from having an infection, basic pneumonia treatment. So yeah, that Mitch McConnell, the curtain is coming down on him. Guys, thank you for indulging that. That's a question I have been wanting to ask for weeks now, and I just haven't got around to asking that. So yeah, I think Mitch McConnell, he knows. So is Trump aware that the whole world has no king's protest against him? Yes, he is aware. Let me see. I'm just curious. I haven't seen. Did Iran even have protests against him on the No King's Day yesterday? If somebody knows that, or if we'll just ask it real quick. Were there no King's protests against the United States or Trump in Iran yesterday? Were there protests in Iran yesterday? Okay, there were protests yesterday in Iran, though they were overwhelmingly organized by the government in support of the regime during the ongoing conflict. So, just happened to be on the same day as No Kings. So, I was just curious about that. Sometimes good tarot readings start with asking Google. Milo, put that other one back up. I'm going to ask about real quick about Trump and the world. Is Trump aware the whole world? I think he's aware. I just want to know, what does he think? He realizes that it's done. Once again, he's wrapping things. Him and Mitch McConnell are on a similar path. He's battle weary. He realizes the world hates him, and he's just going to muddy the waters and the conflict. I hope they've taken out all the ketchup bottles out of the White House. The last ones there at Mar-a-Lago too. You've got the confusion in his mind. I'm feeling like he just does. I mean, he knows. I just don't. And then the tower card. What are we going to get this time? The retribution is, the tower card. So yeah, he knows he's mad. He's going to lash out with that. So yeah, I don't think that just want to take away our health care. I don't think is going to be the final moment of that. Okay, Milo, go ahead and put the next one up for me. My husband is in the back. It runs the back with also Catherine is there today. I usually have a few moderators helping with this. Can you tell if Joe Biden got hit with one of those so-called packet Havana right before he debated with Trump? I've heard there are strong suspicions about why Biden tanked. That's an interesting question. Yes, I will ask that. Okay, so Havana syndrome. Have they ever figured out exactly what that is other than I know that there was like microwave, there was suspicions that it was being delivered by like microwave. Was Biden hit with one of the King of Swords, decisions needing to be taken, medical intervention, and Three of Cups, people rejoicing. Um, and then the trumpet, the horn of truth sounded. The the horn of truth. People see what's happening. Let me see what else. Going back and forth, decisions that have to be made very quickly, and the restrictions. You know, this is coming up as like they knew something. And by they, I mean like the Trump side knew that they needed to do something. And what I'm seeing is like they needed the only major arcana is the judgment card. We need to somehow highlight what's already occurring. So, like, they took advantage of Biden's age, the fact that he had not been feeling well. He had reported that he was feeling run down. So, they took advantage of that. They played on that. And then the emotions, like the going back and forth. What are we going to do? I say emotions because how are we going to weather this? How are we going to weather the debate? And so, very quickly, there had to be some kind of restrictions. They had to shut this down in some way. So let me just ask again, was it one of those Havana syndrome? I don't know that it was. And the reason I'm saying is like I'm just seeing like the burden of just everything that was on his plate at that time. And the star card, he really thought he could do this. And the stability, the security, he really thought people would vote for normal and that they would overlook that. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if the Trump administration, if that regime, it wasn't the administration at the time, if that campaign didn't do something to exploit the fact that Joe Biden was tired, he was run down, he had a lot going on, and that mental piece definitely was highlighted, or that mental difficulty was highlighted in that debate. And I think that there was a couple of things that they did. Okay. One was, everybody uh, jumping on that, like the propaganda that came out of that. So I don't know that it was exactly Havana syndrome, but I think that they absolutely exploited it in a couple of ways to be advantageous to them. That's what I would say with that. What's happening with Tiny Johnson and the House Republicans. I love that the Senate kind of pulled the same thing with them that the House did with them earlier. What was that, in December, when the House said, okay, we passed this and we're going home. Senate, you get to deal with it. So the Senate this time said, okay, we passed this unanimously, even Fetterman, okay, and voted for it. And that, yeah, and then they all went home. And so, yeah, little Tiny Johnson. It also doesn't give the surrender Democrats in the Senate an opportunity to surrender yet. I'm still not placing my bets on the surrender Democrats. And you guys, did you know I said if the surrender Democrats were to give in and cave, it's going to be because of TSA and because of what's going on at the airports. And now look at what we've got going on at the airports. Okay, so let me just ask, what will Maggot Mike and the House do now that all of this is now thrown back to them? Okay, I'm actually going to pull you down here for this one. Hopefully you guys can see that. When I do this and I pull the computer down, when I'm not on my phone, I can't see what it looks like. So I'm hoping it looks just fine. Shine a light into the dark. What is it that we're going to do? Poor little Mike there. He's going to be like, oh, I got to figure out something. Yeah. And how can we spin this? What's the lie we're going to tell? It's the damn circus. I think I'm getting the feeling of these 2 cards of feeling betrayed by the Senate, and I'm feeling like Thune is like, "Hey, buddy, you did this to us, so we did it to you." Decisions needing to be made. How are we gonna care for people? How are we gonna be the ones in control? And right now, Maggot Mike is this he's not even the lion here. He like wanting to portray strength, but I'm sorry, with your head shoved so far up, somebody's, I mean, you're not exactly portraying strength. Drunk on power. Now that absolutely. And look at his face. Have you guys noticed that he's been using that bronzer a lot more? Hmm. It's like, is he having to cover up, his chafing there on his cheeks? And then the Queen of Cups. So this is what I'm seeing. My first thing I thought of when I saw these cards is remember how, there's no Christian, Jesus love and Christian love quite like, Republican Jesus versus how are we actually going to take care of people? How are we actually going to get through this? And that these two things are at odds. They want to go through and just cut everything. And it's like, no, how are we actually going to do this in a way that is appropriate and not just, funding ICE? So it's like Maggot Mike knows what the marching orders are, but he is not wanting to do that. He's wanting to like actually not fun or not. He doesn't want those the he wants to fund everything, and he's actually put forth that oh, and I think they did pass it of funding everything for 8 weeks, and the Senate is like, we're not doing that. So this is going to be the House and Senate at odds with each other. So are they ever going to get this act together? And now Trump is using the his executive order, his little Sharpie there, to go ahead and pay TSA. Could have done 41 days ago. So House and Senate, I'm going to see that. Are we going to actually ever get it together and get something passed? Neither is happy. Neither wants compromise. I always say compromise is when no one is happy, and that's the way the House and the Senate are looking at this. Decisions. I think they're waiting for Daddy to tell them what to do. Oh my God! That every time I get that feeling, it just makes me want to vomit, and it's a burden. So I don't see it. When is this going to be any resolution to this funding anytime soon? Working on a deal, it comes to an end. I mean, it's literally working on a deal. It comes to an end. It comes to a serious end. I'm wondering if this is not just the regime. I don't want to get our hopes up, but I mean, it literally is like we're working and then it ends. Like there's nothing like, oh, we're going to talk about it. We're going to do, it's like plan and then it ends. What is this 8 of Pentacles, this plan? And the plan, new ideas, new beginnings, to coming together. I think that eventually there is going to be some kind of compromise, and it's like what's best for our country. These cards here are actually really good cards. Even I'm even looking at this, like even in the lower energy, I'm feeling like these are like I really think there's going to be some kind of agreement eventually, but it's taking like I put out how many cards. Is ICE going to continue without any type of reforms or restriction in this? Our hopes, wishes, and dreams, the resistance, offering something that we want, and going in a new direction. Okay. With these cards here, I'm going to say that it's going to take a while, like a long while, because it took me forever to get those cards to come out. As far as like, are they actually going to, come together, come to some kind of deal for this that includes some kind of ICE reform? Yes. However, I had to put out like, I don't know, 4 or 5 rounds of cards before I got there. So I think it's going to be, it feels more like I don't know. I'm just looking at you guys. What I'm really looking at, like, is just these two cards. Like something, like the Saturn card. Something comes full circle. Something, and it just ends. So there's going to be some kind of there's going to be some event that just makes everybody say enough of this nonsense, and they actually then finally come to some kind of compromise. But right now, it's just going to go as it is right now as a stalemate. TSA will get paid, and it may be like whenever that money starts running out, they actually have to do something, and it'll have to be something that Daddy, aka Trump, approves of, and it's probably going to be because his rating his ratings are still tanking. They're going to continue to tank, and they think, oh, this will fix it. It's not going to fix it. Who did those drones belong to that we've been seeing over the military bases? Is that related to sleeper cells, and from where? Or some questioned ETs. Okay, I love this question, and I've been wondering that too. As soon as I saw that the drones flying over McNair, I'm like, one, I knew it was going to be on the East Coast rather than the West Coast first. And then I also am in looking at those meteorites that are all of a sudden we're getting these meteorites. And I understand that, or do we always get these? Or is it just because we now have better technology, that now people are looking and paying attention and that we're being like those are being highlighted more? It's kind of like whenever you decide you want to buy a red car, all of a sudden every car you see out there is red. Like our awareness has been brought to that. Our observational bias is now, been brought to, drones and, what are these? And these fireballs, these meteorites, is that really what it is? I do not trust a word that comes out of this country. So let me look into, I'm going to use a different deck. I'm going to use my Morgan Greer. I paused for a minute. And it's like, the steampunk one would be kind of good for this as well. But you guys, I'm a little tired. And when I'm tired, I use my more, I don't want to say easier, the decks that I'm more comfortable with, that I don't have to think quite so hard. So anytime you see those decks, it's like, okay, I just need something that I, like something. And then sometimes it's just like, nope, that's the deck I want to use. So I want to know more about these drones. What do we need to know about these drones? Pull you down here for that. Are they ours? Are they somebody else's? Where have they come from? Where are they going? And then aliens. Okay. These drones, the devil, they're from the devil. Okay. Well, that does not narrow it down. That narrows it down to, is it us or them? Which is kind of what we were asking. And messages of hope. I think that this is coming up more. Let me keep going on that. The rash action. I'm wondering if these aren't ours and that they're not blaming, that they're not going to be blaming the propaganda, the tower card, two sides coming together. Let me just ask. Are these our drones? Okay, for our drones, the truth comes out. This was all part of a plan, and in order to like protect our country, almost like we're going to create the problem that we can solve. That's the feeling I'm getting from that. Are these foreign drones? And foreign drones, something coming complete circle, coming from overseas, military action overseas. And this is going to be that novice action. So let me look at this. I think that the drones that we are seeing over the United States, they're over McNair, is going to be starting out as our drones. I think the other drones are limited more to the overseas part of this, and I'm saying because of the novice part here, like they haven't, like they can do this there in the Middle East, attacking our assets there. I don't think that they've been able to make it over here yet. That this is going to be more us over here, and I'm feeling like that stuff over McNair was probably going to be, I don't know, something with the Secretary of Defense, the Defense Department not telling, remember when they had to shut down the airspace over El Paso? Was it El Paso? Because they forgot to send out a memo letting the other department know, that the transportation department know that that's kind of what I'm seeing with this. But that in there, so you're going to have their drones, our drones, and in the mix is going to be the story that they weave. And that is going to be using that as justification to, I'm saying the propaganda, the justification to do whatever they're going to do next in this. We will call it what it is, the war. It's not an excursion. We're not out there, on the love boat here on an excursion. It's a war. So yeah, and I'm going to ask real quick: is it aliens? Just because I want to, and specifically, I want to know the meteorites. There is a military action with what they know, with the plan, and something at night. I don't think it is aliens. I think that they may try to. Would it surprise us for them to not, say, "Oh, this administration is failing, so we're going to trot out aliens"? But I don't think. I think that it's a known, and the reason I say known is because of the Queen of Pentacles, a known military action that they're not letting us know. That's what I get with that. So as far as drones here, I don't think the foreign drones are here yet, but mainly because I just don't think now if Russia gets way involved, that could come down the road. Okay. Oh wow. And Susie, you said it was about the size of a tennis ball, if that, and you found it, and you could feel the ground shake. Wow. So, and I saw one video where they actually had some kind of piece of the meteorite. And then I saw someone post that I'm going to ask, is this meteorite is this really just a comet field that we're, orbiting through right now that happens to, and that's where this is coming from? Is this going to be that comet field, breakup, bad breakup with the comet that's now entering our atmosphere? And the comet, yeah, I mean, there's evidence of that. Some of it is. Now, would this administration use the truth, a grain of truth, to spend some or to start doing something nefarious? Yes. But yes, some of this stuff actually really is known, either meteors or space junk falling through the sky, but they will lie about it. There's a grain of truth with the lie that they spin, and they're trying to figure out how can they best use this for to their advantage. So, yeah. What lie can we tell about what this is to be advantageous to us? Can you tell me anything about my friends who had a bike incident this past week? She's gone in and out of the words. Okay, let me get the Wiser Tarot out. Let me check on her first, and then I will check on him. So let's just do, how is she going to recover from this bike incident? How is she going to recover from the bike incident? So I'm going to pull you down here, Jean. This is how she. Trying to see if you can see that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is like it's kind of touch and go. Things are a little murky. This moon card is telling me that the but some kind of hope coming out of this. There's something that's making them hopeful. There's a message of hope, even though she still has healing to go. I'm seeing this more like broken bones right now. They're trying to decide if she either needs like surgery, medical intervention. They're watching this. I mean, it could be like, it's like, well, we could do medical intervention or we've done it. We may need to do more. There's something about needing to decide what medical intervention needs to happen next. And yes, I do think that she does make a full recovery. And then the two of wands here. And if they're not both making a full recovery. So that's her. Right now, broken bones, good news, and that they're trying to decide like what the next medical treatment is going to be. So for him, how is his recovery going to be as far as waking up and moving on from like, what does this look like for him? Okay. And his recovery, he has a little bit more. He definitely has more that he's going through. Definitely, I'm seeing the crutches here with the broken bones. He looks like overall, though, I'm seeing this green as a little bit of tattered and torn, but green to me stands for vitality and growth. Um, and the sun comes out. So there's been either probably some hopeful news with this, but waiting for him to, wake up the truth, waking up and everything at their disposal. Like they're having to use a lot of medical intervention for him. He seems to be responding somewhat to it. Are they keeping him somewhat like I'm almost feeling like the medical intervention is almost keeping him foggy to the point to where he hasn't regained consciousness. Yeah, that's being blocked right now. Like they almost want him to heal before they kind of bring him out. I'm not feeling like a medically induced coma, but like we need for him to rest and the disappointment, but there's still hope. He is definitely injured more, which I will disclose. I did know that in advance, so I do want to disclose that in advance. And also, just the way Jean posted that was asking, like he has not regained consciousness yet. He has more physically wrong with him. I will say that 5. So when can we expect him? This 5 and 5 of Cups. Resolution. In the resolution, charging forward. And these are at odds. It's kind of like medical, do we medical intervention or do we wait? And I'm kind of seeing that here of how much medical intervention do we give versus like, what is the, I'm saying like ROI, what is the return on an investment? Are we going to be doing more harm than good? Do we need to just kind of let things be? Like they've got the major stuff. Like I'm feeling like needing to let him heal. That's what I'm feeling with this. And then making the decisions. Did he have head injury, head trauma with this? That they're just kind of letting him heal from that. I see that. I think that he will. I think that he'll come out of this. I think she will come out of it first. She will be the caregiver. He has a little bit longer road of recovery, but I'm not seeing anything here saying that not to expect some kind of recovery. So yes, she is going to come out of it and be out of the hospital well before he is. And it's this back and forth between let's let him heal, medical intervention, let's let him heal, medical intervention, going back and forth like that. So that's what I see with that. Okay. My friend has been diagnosed. Oh, Nancy, I'm sorry to hear that. How will she approach treatment? Yeah. let me let me look at how does radiation look, and then I'll look at the skin graft, and then I will compare, like compare and contrast. Brain bleed. Okay. You're welcome, Jean. Debbie, what are you having for dinner? We've got some leftover chicken I need to do something with, and we're going to have chicken and broccoli Alfredo. So have a wonderful dinner, Debbie. Thank you so much for stopping in. And Nancy, I am shuffling the cards and seeing radiation. What does radiation outcome look like? Okay, radiation is this is going to be the medical doctor decisions, and I'm feeling this is like traditional treatment, and I don't think it's going to be either or. I think it's going to be both and, because it's like weighing options. So let me look at skin graft. Going in a new direction. I don't think skin graft. So the Tower card, skin graft isn't going to get it. And like messages about something that I don't think skin graft. These were not the best cards. What I think it's going to be radiation is going to be the better choice. As she goes through the radiation treatments, then there may be additional treatment. Like then there could be the skin graft. Then there could be, whatever they decide. But there will be two steps in. I'm seeing two steps in this. Radiation was definitely the more prominent looking better option. Wouldn't rule, but I wouldn't start with skin graft. That's something that I would be like, So yeah, listen to the doctors, go the more traditional route first, and then also open up more like, what are my other options? If I do radiation, then what else can we add to that to make sure that this works? That's what I'm saying about that. Radiation could only happen after the skin graft. Okay, then it's both of those together. It's not an either or, Nancy. It's going to be both. Okay, so that's what that is. Susie and Jean, I'm checking here, and Charlie, I will get to that in just a second. I just saw that thing about the red hair and a medical treatment, that it's a completely, like, there's a whole thing that goes on with people with red hair, that they have to have like different anesthesia, even different pain meds type thing. That was something completely new to me that I did not know about. Okay, so Nancy, just to make sure, yes, she will do both of those things. It's not one or the other. It's both together. How much longer will my father last on hospice? There have been 3 months. He's a diabetic amputee. Oh, Charlie, I'm sorry to hear that. Okay. I can't give exact timelines or dates, but I can give you, like, is something looking, sooner rather than later, that kind of thing. So what is hospice looking like? Guys, there's this Saturn, what is it? Saturn Neptune energy. It's hitting a lot of people really hard, and it's not just the people going through the health, but it's also the caregivers in conjunction with that. I mean, it really is. It's hitting a lot. So what is hospice for Charlie's dad? Looking like? Quickly. Everything, like everything has been, it's almost like everything that can be done has been done, is what I'm feeling with this. And yeah, this is going to be one of those. What I'm feeling with this is very peaceful. Like, is he at peace with what he is going through? And that this is like putting it all out there, starting to get affairs in order, starting to wrap things up And then the major, like transformation. Let me see what else is. Okay. When somebody is on hospice, I am not predicting death, but when someone comes up and is asking about hospice, we're not going to freak out just because this card came up. Okay. This is the card. If someone is in hospice, they're absolutely like getting their affairs in order. And I'm feeling like quickly, like and I said making peace with that. The next card that came up was, which was my making peace with this. And this preparing for the next step in the journey. It's unknown, and I still feel like there's still some time. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But I'm thinking that it's going to be more. Um, he wants to go. He's tired and doesn't want to tell you. Wow, yeah. I'm feeling like really with this card and this card, I'm just feeling like being at peace. That's what I'm feeling with this, and that there's not, and also with these two cards that um I'm feeling like a lot of rest, a lot of emotions, kind of that not really conscious, but like that in between state. That's what I'm saying. Like that's kind of like where you're moving towards now. So yeah, I'm feeling very much at peace with this. So, Charlie, we're all going to be praying for him to be at peace. Yeah, Charlie, I'm going to agree with Susie here about that. Magician was kind of like I just felt like putting it all out on the table. Like that's what I was feeling. Like that magician has all the tools that they need. And so that putting it out on the table, being all on the same page with kind of, and it just feels like everyone is that temperance card surrendering um, to everybody's natural journey and like being at peace with that's really that. Yeah. And so having maybe a difficult talk, but um, I'm feeling like you will be able to do that in a way of, letting your dad know it's okay. Dad. So we will be holding you in our thoughts. Okay. After Epstein's death, the Bureau was shredding documents. Was that directed? Did I see somebody post something about Bill Barr's dad had something to do with Epstein too? Thank you so much. His birthday is soon on the 18th. Oh, they were born on the same day. Yeah, Charlie. You guys, you make that April 18th be very special, okay? Because I think it'll be a special birthday. You're welcome. Okay. I want to look into CJ's real quick, but I'm realizing it's already 3:05. If anybody has any last personal questions that you want, drop those in. If not, this will be kind of one of the last things. I didn't realize we were getting so far into this. I know I had a lot of announcements at the beginning. So I'm okay to go over just a little bit. And Milo, you guys notice I'm not yelling because I realized last week I was yelling through the house to my husband, hey, do this because we don't have a big house. And then I was like, oh my gosh, he's got the computer on. He can hear me just fine back there. Okay. And you guys in the comments, I'm trying to kind of watch both the comments, but I really do get focused in on the reading. So Susie, thank you very much for your input and the chat that's going on over here. I love to see you guys chatting over here in the comments. I just can't always, I can't split my focus all the time. So, okay. Bill Barr. Did he order the shredding of documents? Things are up in the air. Things are like, well, what happened there, Mr. Barr? Being left out in the cold. I don't I wonder because I'm almost getting the feeling like I don't know that he's the one that directed it. Like they didn't like he was asked and he said no and somebody else did it. They will literally burn the White House to the ground to save their asses. And in the dark of night, under the cover of the of dark, and back and forth, patience. Huh. If he did, man, they've got this thing. They have got it buried. And the reason I'm saying buried is these two cards together, something that is under the dark of night, and we're going to bury that so far that nobody is going to know. So I'm going to ask again, Tarot, just did Bill Barr order those documents to be shredded? The justice, the government, and the restrictions. He knew about it after the fact for sure. I think that I'm almost getting the feeling like he was not wanting to do it and somebody else did it, but then he didn't disagree with it. That's kind of more what I'm feeling with this is that he wanted what is that, plausible deniability. And so somebody else did it and they're covering it up big time. But that he does know about it. So he's not absolved from his. I would not say he's absolved from his not knowing because he definitely knows about it after it happened. I have the feeling like he didn't want to do it, so while he was trying to decide if he was going to do it, they had somebody else do it, and he found out and said, "Oh, okay," and then didn't really, argue or fight back on it. Guys, these were some really good readings today. You guys had some really good questions, and the personal questions. Health ones are always, I don't mind asking. I truly don't. They're always a little bit, I always want to look at like the more, how do we make it through, not the actual diagnosis itself. So like with Nancy's friend, it's going to be both. That person is going to have to do both. And there may even be like additional, like after that. Um, and Jean, that some hard questions, medical questions, but I do appreciate those questions. That's the DOJ with the shredder, yeah. Yes, for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so you guys, just to remind you, if you are interested in tarot classes, send me an email because there's limited numbers with the link that I will send you, and that's the Patreon space. TheWillowInstitute.com is up and running. I'm available for private sessions and no live next Sunday because it is Easter. And then the Sunday after that, I will be at the Eureka Springs UFO convention. If you are planning on going, find me in the wild and say hi. And you guys, I think with that, what do I charge? Right now, it's $60 for up to 45 minutes. And so, no, it's a session. It lasts up to 45 minutes. If you use your time with 10 minutes, you know, there's reasons I'm doing it that way. I just can't get into the, like, here's a great place to ask those questions of, I just have a real quick question. Do that here. And I have told my team to always prioritize personal questions over political questions in these lives so that I can get to those. And then if you have a longer question, then that is my husband in the chat. That's my husband. He's logged into my account so he can pull those up. My wonderful husband says, "Have a wonderful evening and thanks for coming today." Yes, I have a wonderful. I actually really have a wonderful husband. Makes me happy that we can work on this stuff together. She really does. That is in comment too. Yes. Okay. My husband has been let loose with my account in StreamYard. So yeah. And a session, just so you guys know how a session works, is you book it, you have to pay in advance if you can't make it. No shows, unless it's like some, way out there type of, reason. I don't really like no shows. And then you get a link for StreamYard. You can use that link to go in and figure out like how things, it really is simple. You just click on the link, it makes sure your stuff is working. You can, like turn your camera off if you don't want the camera on, and then you enter the studio. I mean, it really is that simple. And am very, I mean, I am not technologically, I have issues and I've not had any problems like actually figuring out how to get into the studio. So, okay, you guys, thank you very much for being here and joining me. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up because, like, whoever it was earlier had to go make dinner. I have to go to the grocery store and make dinner and. So, just like you guys get on with your day, I need to get on with my day. Thank you very much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I will be recording 3 readings this evening, and I'm getting those uploaded for members and the community at large. You'll have those one a day. When do I have a time for a reading? I don't have very many. I have like 10 slots available right now. And as I get stuff, finished, we'll open more slots up. So yeah, I'm making time. I'm carving time out. And who needs sleep? Nobody needs sleep. So, guys, I appreciate it. And I will catch you on the next reading. You guys have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. Bye, guys.